Hello again YouTube, it's December 2018, so we're between Christmas and New Year, and I'm currently off for 2 weeks. Our industry pretty much shuts down. I work in construction and the industry shuts down for 2 weeks, so people like myself can have 2 weeks of rest. But what that means is on the lead up to the holiday, we try and cram so much work in to get it finished that by the time the 2 weeks comes, we're pretty much done, exhausted. So as you can probably hear, I've got a pretty sore throat and a bit of a chest infection, so I'm going to try and keep the talking to a minimum. I do want to say a quick thank you to Big Clive for sending me this. Clive's channel, if you haven't seen Clive's channel, go and check it out. It's Big Clive. He's got a website as well, bigclive.com. Clive does all sorts of electronic builds, teardowns, upgrades. It's just all sorts of technical videos. He ran a quick competition and he promised to send a prize, and this was the prize that he sent me for correctly guessing, or almost correctly guessing, an ancient antique component. So you can test these. He also sent me a bag of these LEDs. I've got multicolour LEDs, but they've got 4 legs, so they've got a common cathode, and then they've got 3, I think it's common cathode and 3 anodes, and you basically pass current to each leg to drive the different colours. This one's just got 2, so it's got looks like a standard size anvil in there, but on that anvil you've got the 3 colour chips, and you've also got the tiniest microprocessor. I'm tempted to cut one of these open and have a look at what's on the anvil, but I don't really have a microscope that's capable of looking at that. It changes colour, but the colour changing isn't just the 3 chips being turned on and off. The gradual fade between them is pulse width modulating. I don't know if this will work on camera, but when you do it to the naked eye, you can actually see the pulses between the colours. So I can't tell with that by looking at it. I'll look at it in the feed. So anyway, thanks to Clive for that. That's been really interesting, and I'll make something with these LEDs. He sent me a bag. I think there's maybe 50 in it, but the little LED tester's a cracking little tool. Thanks very much. So what I do want to look at today is nothing to do with electronics. It's this here. It's a water filter. It's an inline carbon filter. Something that happened on Christmas morning was we had no water, and we're very fortunate to live in the west of Scotland, where our water quality is good to start with, and our water utility company, Scottish Water, are very good at their job. And so whenever we have a problem, even when it's on Christmas morning at 1 AM, they get squads on it and they get it fixed as quickly as possible. And that's what happened this year. So the 12-inch water main burst during the night. It affected thousands of properties, and they sent squads out, and by the morning they had most properties back on, and it took an hour or so for the water to clear up. That left us with a problem because we had murky brown water. We had guests coming and we had a big pot of soup to make, and I needed clean water. So I took this off the top of the fridge, and this is an inline filter. We've got one of these fridges that it'll filter water and cool it down, and it'll also make ice cubes. So you need clean water to do that. So I basically popped this off, cut off the pipe at one end, and then turned the water back on, ran it into the sink, and I was able to run it into a jug and check that I had nice crystal clear water to make the soup with. So this was already over its replace by date by quite a little bit, I have to admit, but as I say, we start off with good quality water here anyway, so I'm not terribly concerned about any sort of high levels of contamination. So now that I've run mucky water through this, I've changed it out, and I thought I'll cut it open and see what's inside. I've already had a look online at what people say about these, and some people say it's just a loose carbon that's inside them. Some people say these replacement ones are a lot of junk. When you turn the water on at first, it tells you to flush through 4 gallons, and in doing that I run it into a clear jug, and you can see that there is a slight blackish looking deposit in the water. It just looks a little bit powdery. It's nothing severe, and certainly it goes away after you have run, a few gallons through, probably a little bit more than they suggested, but then maybe I was just a bit overzealous in making sure that it was properly flushed. So I thought I would take this apart, just take a Dremel, slice it down the side, get my workbench all mucky, why not, and see what's inside them. Okay, see what that's got. Okay. Wow. Right, this is going to get very, very messy. That's okay. Excuse me. So we've got what looks like charcoal pellets. Very chunky pellets. Pretty shiny. There's not much deposit on my hands. I actually expected there to be more. Because I thought, apart from there being charcoal in here, I thought this is going to be quite contaminated. But no, other than being wet, that's pretty clean. Now that either means the water's quite clean, or maybe this isn't picking much out of the water. But I suspect it's probably the quality of the water to start with. So let's see. So the flow's in this direction. So this is the output stage. So we've basically got lots and lots of charcoal. Seems to be just loose charcoal. On the inside of this here, oh, there is some deposit, you can see. It looks like it's charcoal deposit though, it's black. If that was mineral deposit from water, I think I would expect it to be more brown. Yeah, it looks, well, I suppose it is a little touch brown, so yeah, it probably is a bit both. So I'm expecting this just to be full of charcoal. So what I'll do is I'll cut another section up the top here. I might just try and cut this lid off, see what that gives us. But let's pull this foam filter out. There's a bit of water there. So there's a bit of foam here. Now that's quite heavily discoloured from water. I'm assuming that's from water. Let's just find a tub to clean this out into. Okay, the water that came out of that was pretty brown, so yeah, that was fairly a bit of contamination. You can see the water in here's pretty dirty. It seems there's another stage behind here, so I think I'll come back to that. It's making a lovely mess. That's fine. That's why I'm doing this in the shed on the bench, not on the kitchen table. Okay. Right, so we've got a similar style of mesh here. Plug this is up the other end, and we've got another foam pad. So this foam pad's at the inlet side, and yep, getting water everywhere, that's fine. So this foam pad, I'll just get another piece of paper. This pad's definitely discoloured, you can see, don't know if you can make it out there, but if you can see the brown discoloration on the paper. So that's likely the discoloration, the mineral that came through the pipe on Christmas Day, and I suppose a couple of years before that, or however long this was in. But you can see there's a definite brown tinge to the water in this. It doesn't smell of much, so I'm guessing that whatever the charcoal, the effect of the charcoal has neutralised what the effect of anything that's been in the water, any biologicals. So inside now it looks like we've got charcoal, we've got loose charcoal, and that, yeah, that's just loose charcoal all the way down to the other end there. You can poke that right through. Just going to get rid of some of the excess water. So yeah, so this is the inlet side, and we've got it's like a fabric layer, like a heavy foam. I thought it was going to be moulded in, but it's not. It's just it's a felt pad, it's a heavy felt, much like you would get in a fuel filter. That's quite heavily contaminated. I'm assuming that would have started off white. Yeah. So you can see that just from touching it, the level of contamination is quite high. So yeah, it looks like the fibres on the top are white. I wonder what would happen if I poured some isopropyl through it. Will it clean it at all? No. Not really, no. Doesn't do anything. But you can see the brown mineral, it's starting to stain my fingers, and it's starting to stain the cloth, so it is doing something, it is removing contaminants that would otherwise have been in the drinking water. Okay, so got this fin effect here, and I take it that's to let the water flow through from the inlet. It will come through here and be allowed to dissipate, or to allowed to distribute around here before it comes through the felt pad. Then it comes through, so we had the felt pad, then we had the foam, then we had the plastic mesh to contain the charcoal, then at the other end another layer of foam, and I'm assuming that in the back of this we're going to have the same again. We're going to have another felt pad. A good pair of long nose pliers would have been good here, but I don't actually have any in the shed. They're in my tool bag at work. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I've managed to put a slice in that, but effectively it's the same thing. In fact, you can see the chambering quite well there. So that's the mesh to contain the charcoal, and then the chambering with the fins, the same arrangement of fins. They do appear to be a little bit deeper at this end, the difference, it's quite a stark difference between the colour of the pads. Now bear in mind I've sort of cleaned this up, I haven't cleaned this one up a bit. This was the inlet filter and I've dried it out a little bit. This one I haven't really touched it, so this is the outlet filter. And other than black from the charcoal, there's no mineral, there's no observable mineral anyway. So I would say that does do quite an effective job at stopping the contaminant from the water supply getting through to the secondary side. So whatever mix this is, I take it as just charcoal. I don't actually know what the difference is between charcoal and activated charcoal, don't really know, but running the water through this charcoal, this heavily granular mix of charcoal, seems to be quite effective. So you've got first stage, second stage, the large charcoal stage in the middle, another one of these, so it's stage 3, stage 4, and finally another one of these at stage 5. So you've got 5 stage filtering going on in there. So that seems to be pretty good. Now that you've seen what's inside it, I'm going to be honest and tell you that this has been in for in excess of 4 years, and you're supposed to change them every 6 months. So there's no odour to it. It certainly can't. It doesn't smell like, and it doesn't smell bad at all. Certainly once you open it up, you can see there's some mineral from the water, but you get that on the inside of the pipe anyway. And on the output stage, other than some charcoal discolouring, that's certainly a lot cleaner. And that's quite likely like that because I was, well, you saw how I took it apart, so a lot of that's going to be how violently I opened the thing. So I would say these things are pretty effective at what they do, and they clean the water up quite well. So talking about cleaning up, it looks like I've got quite a bit of cleaning up to do now, so I'll go off and do that. As it's December 2018, I'd like to wish all my subscribers and viewers a very happy new year, a very successful 2019. All your builds and teardowns go well. And I would also like to say just a quick note again to Big Clive to say thanks for this gift. It's been very useful so far. I found it very interesting. If you haven't done so yet, go along and have a look at Big Clive's channel. He does some very interesting technical teardowns. Thanks again and have a great new year.